This success of the landing and the first walk on the moon, already CBS News White House correspondent Dan Rather reports, the White House Press Secretary Ron Ziegler and astronaut Frank Borman saying that the president can be expected to make a policy decision with regard to exploration of Mars within the next 30 to 60 days.
Now, however, I was able to reach up and get hold of the pit pin and pull it loose. So it'll be deployed manually also. Roger.
We've heard from Vice President Agnew that what seems to be a feeling on his part, is not expressed in so many words, that his space council that will make the recommendation will be recommending going to Mars. Certainly, Agnew himself seems to be in favor of that.
Up the limb, 730 position at 60 feet.
That's Neil Armstrong to the left of the screen. By that.
Doors are closed and locked. Roger. Roger. Have you got us a good area picked out? Well, I think right out on that rise out there is probably as good as any.
Talking about spot to put that laser ranging
Stay on
experiment.
the high ground there and
I'm a little
seems to be
confused
quite minimal.
as to whether they've gotten the documented rock samples or not. No, we had a report that 15 rocks are sealed for samples. Well, 15 rocks sound like individual rocks, which would be the documented rocks, and yet that's the documented rock samples is the tail end of their series of experiments on the moon.
From what they said a little bit a while ago, I gathered it was the bulk samples that they were loading on.
Talking about 15 samples of
Yes, I
rocks,
didn't
not
get the
15
15
rocks.
There's a spacecraft looking at the skirts of the descent stage.
Well, but I didn't actually hear the transmission, but the word has passed to me was 15 rocks were
A
sealed
rather
for sample.
minimal amount of radiating or etching away or erosion of the surface. And now on descent, both of us remarked that we could see a large amount of very fine dust particles moving out. It was reported beforehand that we would probably see an outgassing from the surface after actual engine shutdown, but I recall I was unable to verify that.
They should be sealing the hatch just an hour from now if they stick with that 2 hours and 40 minutes from hatch opening to hatch sealing. That would mean I would make a very wild guess. I'd say they'd certainly start ingress in about a half hour. Ingress meaning getting back in.
Just too big an angle, Neil. Yep. I think you're right.
Well, so far now they've collected the contingency on the bulk rock sample. They've deployed the television set, of course. They've unveiled the plaque. They've deployed the flag. They put up the solar wind experiment. They've had that little ceremony with President Nixon, which they stood at attention near as they can in those suits as the president greeted them on the moon. And then a little salute from the two men standing either side of the flag they've deployed that you see over there to the right of the lunar module. Left to do is the ESIP deployment. That's the passive seismology experiment and the laser ranging reflector, and get the documented sample of rocks.
So back at the minus Z spec now. Stereo pair we're taking it will take very little force of impact that we actually had.
They're still inspecting the lunar module.
This inspection has scientific value as well, seeing how the LEM has interacted with the surface.
Yep. How deep it sank and...
Okay, to work on the SEQ bay. Okay. Columbia, this is Houston. I noticed that... Columbia, this is Houston. Go ahead, bud. Okay. Let me get some close-up pictures of that. Ron. I was saying that Houston stop and take a photograph of something and then want to start moving again sideways. Quite a tendency to start doing it with just gradual sideways hops until you start getting center. Roger. Can you see us underneath the LEM over at the SEQ bay, Houston? Yes, indeed, Buzz. We can see your feet sticking out underneath the structure of the LEM descent stage. Okay, I'm just on the other side of the... now we can see you through the structure of the minus Z secondary strut.
The SEQ bay contains the scientific experiments to be left on the surface of the moon. The laser reflector.
They're open, and it looks like they're going to stay up without any problem. Columbia, this is Houston. We're about to lose you on the Omnis. Request high gain antenna. React mode. Pitch 20. Yaw 135. Over. Gonna pick an area, Neil. Make that yaw 175. Columbia, yaw 175 on the high gain. Corelli's locked up on the high gain, Houston. Roger out.
The surgeon says everything looks fine. An hour and a half of lunar surface time for Neil Armstrong.
That sounded pretty hard to get perfectly level, too.
Which looks like that sort of staff sticking in there, kind of about half that size, and it's suspended so that it finds the vertical at all times. It's got shades and glass, so you take a picture and get the proper resolution of the camera.
I believe it is. Houston, I don't think there's any hope for using this leveling device to come up with an accurate level. It looks to me as though the cup here that the BB is in is now convex instead of concave, over.
There's a BB that's supposed to travel through a track, and
Press on. If you think it looks level by eyeball, go ahead. Okay.
much like the carpenter's level, you have a little curved track.
Yeah.
The curve is going uphill instead of downhill.
How can that be?
Not very
bubble
practical.
they're discussing is on a leveling device on the passive seismometer.
One going, huh?
You know what's really lacking is the huffing and puffing of the EVA and Gemini days.
Yeah, that's right. Sounded like the little locomotive in that old children's tale, I think I can, I think I can.
Yes.
The old days.
Good work.
So really,
Hey, whoa, stop. Back up. Wait. Houston, as I was facing the PSC, the right-hand solar array deployed automatically. The left hand, I had to manually training bar at the far end. And all parts of the solar array are clear of the ground now.
Buzz, this is Houston. Understand you did successfully deploy both solar arrays, over.
Roger, that's affirmative. And there isn't any way of telling whether that's lined up. Not getting in the way. Maybe I could get down here. Now that appears to be pointing.
You know what these pictures look like? Some of those early movies of science fiction of man on the moon, don't they? They
so true.
color, the black and white registration, the whole thing looks like those movies. Incredible. Just before they started this spacewalk, Aldrin, realizing they were deploying the camera,
This
said,
is Houston, over.
I sure wish I'd shaved last night. These
Hey, go ahead, Houston.
Roger,
pictures,
we've been
it doesn't
looking
make
at your
much difference.
consumables, and you're in good shape. Subject to your concurrence, we'd like to extend the duration of the EVA 5 minutes from nominal. We will still give Buzz a hack at 10 minutes prior for heading in. Your current elapsed time is 2 plus 12, over.
So they get an extra 15 minutes on the moon surface. They've been
Okay,
doing
that
so
sounds
well.
fine.
Roger out.
That would make the Aldrin's entrance into the lunar module, as we figured very quickly here, about 5 minutes after the hour, 5 minutes after 1 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time.
2:12 is the time expended on the PLSS.
This is Houston. If you're still in the vicinity of the PSC, could you get a photograph of the ball level, over?
I'll do that, but... Right, we'll get a photograph of that. Houston, what time would you estimate we could allow for the documented sample, over? Oh, shoot. I believe the ball is right in the middle now. Wonderful. Take a picture before it moves.
He's talking about that the little ball and the bubble and that fact.
Neil, this is Houston.
Seismic.
We're estimating about 10 minutes for the document sampling, over.
With the deployment of the passive seismic experiment and the laser reflector, that leaves only the documented rock sample to complete all of their tasks on the moon. They've got an extra 15 minutes to do it.
Columbia, this is Houston, over.
Columbia, this is Houston.